Our next guest today is Mike Cox, who is the Executive Director?
Actually, I'm the President.
The President of the Isaiah House for Washington County. So, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to talk about Isaiah House. It's one of the most innovative programs really in this country as far as what we're doing to help those struggling with addiction, and it's right here in Washington County.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people locally who have yet to hear of Isaiah House, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I know that the Isaiah House has been in our community in Washington County for, gosh, how many years?
It relocated from Lincoln County to Willisburg in Washington County in 2008.
Okay. Okay, and prior to that, that building, which of course is the old Willisburg Elementary School.
That's correct.
I think at one time was even the high school. You know, it was renovated many years back, and I think there was another. Well, at one time there was it was a boys' home.
True. Prior to our obtaining the facility, it was a boys' home.
Okay. Okay. So when you obtained the facility in 2008, it had been a boys' home up until then. So you're the first. The Isaiah House is the first facility to have adult residents who have addiction problems.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, so tell me about the facility.
Okay. Well, we are a residential treatment facility. We can accommodate 88 clients. Currently, they're all men. We have 72 bed in the main facility, and then we have actually a 2-story home located right behind the main building that we're using for our Medicaid facility, which is a 16 bed. So we're very unique in our approach because we're very holistic. And I think a lot of people define recovery differently. You know, what's it mean to receive help for addiction? And as we all know, addiction eventually impacts every person, every part of a person's life, not only the individual but the family. And so there's a lot of things that need to be considered as we help people overcome addiction. And so that's kind of what we're doing at Isaiah House. We have a lot of services that we offer that makes us very unique.
Okay. What are those services?
I knew you were going to ask. First of all, we are, again, we relocated, started as a homeless shelter in Danville in 1999 is where Isaiah House really started with Mark and Tammy LaPalm. Mark is our CEO, and he simply opened up his home for the homeless and broke several city ordinances and eventually had like 12 people living in his basement, and even the authorities would drop people off at his home, but you're not allowed to have more than 3 non-living relatives in your home. And so he was actually placed in jail for a period of time, and he was forced to shut that ministry down. And then a couple donated a home in Lincoln County, and so that's where it started, and then relocated to Willisburg campus in 2008. In 2010, we became state licensed. We became recognized as an alcohol and other drug treatment entity. In 2014, we had our second state licensure, BHSO, Behavioral Health Service Organization, which means we began to deal with other mental health issues along with addiction, which is so common with addiction. And then in 2015, we became Joint Commission accredited. Joint Commission is the oldest and the most prestigious accrediting body in our nation. Many hospitals are Joint Commission accredited, which means that we have to attain to a very high standard and quality of service to our clients. And so we're very proud of those accomplishments. And there are very few treatment facilities and programs that can claim those accomplishments. So that means we have 11 licensed clinicians on our staff. We have a psychologist on our staff. And so we deal with obviously substance abuse, but there's a lot of other issues. There's a lot of comorbidity we've discovered with addiction, from depression to bipolar. Many of our clients have experienced sometimes very profound trauma. There's emotional issues involved, and so we have a clinical staff that certainly works with the client with all those kinds of aspects of their life. And then there's a physical piece of that. You know, addiction and drug abuse impacts the physical health. And so we have a medical team to evaluate and assess. We have nurse practitioners and RNs and CNNs. We have a medical doctor that oversees our medical team. We have a physician on our board of directors. And so we're constantly monitoring and the physical piece of that. Then, of course, there's legal issues. Many people who have been in long-term addiction have a variety of legal problems. And so we have a case management team that works with judges and probation and parole officers, and sometimes our clients have legal problems in several states. They don't even remember where all their problems originate from. And so we dig into that, and we want to make sure all those things are satisfied. They get caught up with restitution and certainly child support. We want our guys to become responsible parents, and so we are always teaching them how to do that with parenting classes, but part of that is getting caught up with child support. So we have a legal case team that works with all that. Obviously there's an educational piece. I think we're the only treatment facility in this country that offers college accredited courses while someone's in treatment. Some of our guys have dropped out of high school, so we offer GED classes on site. And then we're partnering with Campbellsville University to offer college accredited courses on site while they're in treatment. And so our long-term program is actually an 8-month program, and so potentially you can earn 12 college credit hours while you're in treatment. And the reason we do that is because it's important for our clients to begin to have a real sense of hope for their future. And we want them to begin to experience success, either going back to school or whatever direction they need to go. We want them to experience that success while they're in treatment. Another piece of that is employment. It's not enough just to finish a treatment program. You've got to be able to find sustainable employment. If you can't find employment, then the chances of maintaining sobriety diminish greatly. Many of our clients come with felonies on their records, which makes it very difficult to find employment. So we guarantee our clients employment. After 3 months of treatment, we guarantee you full-time employment. We do that through partnering with our local manufacturers. We also do that by creating some job opportunities within Isaiah House. So we have several things. We have Isaiah 58 builders. We can repair, remodel, build, do windows, do concrete. So we employ our guys with those skills in kind of like a contracting business. It's also an opportunity for us to teach job skills. Someone may not have had that experience, but they're interested, and so we partner them up with our team to teach them that trade. We also have event management. We actually clean Papa John's Stadium in Louisville. We also provide security for the Country Music Awards in Nashville. We also provide security for Bristol Speedway, Kentucky Motor Speedway. Another opportunity for us to provide employment for our guys. We also have other employment opportunities, and we pay our guys from $10 to $20 an hour, depending on their job skills and sets. And so, the employment is a big piece of that, and it also enables us to be able to allow guys to enter in long-term treatment. Our challenge is getting insurance to pay for treatment. Medicaid will pay, but they are only pay for a few weeks. A month is about the most they're willing to pay. And so if you have a guy that has been using drugs since he's 10 or 11 years old and he's in his mid-20s, 30 days of treatment is really not enough. A couple of weeks, they're just, getting through the acute detox symptoms. And so
So you can do detox at your facility?
our guys detox. We're not a medical detox facility, but we do use comfort meds. Sometimes we'll refer out for medical detox and then come back. We also have a device, a non-narcotic device called the Bridge. The Bridge has been around, FDA approved, to be used for chronic pain for years. It's a device that just attaches to the earlobe, and it sends impulses. It helps the downregulation of the dopamine receptors, and it really diminishes the pain of acute withdrawal greatly. And so that's a device we've just added about a month ago that we're making available for our clients as well to help them get through the detox. Because that's the big barrier for a lot of folks. A lot of people want to overcome addiction, and maybe they decide to stop using drugs, but because of the impact and the changes that sustained drug abuse has caused in the brain and the withdrawal of that, they have to resort to continued drug use. And so it's a great tool for us to use to help guys get through that period of time.
Yeah. And so back to the Medicaid issue, then, we're talking about Medicaid doing 30 days of treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And those persons stay in that other facility?
Yes. The reason for that is there's an interesting regulation by Medicaid, and it's this. They will not pay for more than 16 beds. We're a Medicaid approved for years in our 72-bed facility, but they won't pay because we're larger than 16 beds. 16 bed is the max that you can house in any, regardless of the size of the facility. 16 is the number. They won't pay. So we're able to put them over in that facility until Medicaid stops paying, and then we move them over into the main facility where we can extend treatment.
So I was going to say you can't do 16 in the house and 16 in the...
No, we just do 16 and then we transition over to main. Yes. So we're, and of course we always have guys that are transitioning out of the program. We basically have 3 programs. We have the 30-day Medicaid program, and some do 30 days and leave, but some stay for longer treatment, which we encourage. We have a 100-day program that's really designed for the Unite voucher. Unite voucher was established in eastern Kentucky by Hal Rogers, and it's a voucher system that they will pay $5,000 for 100 days of treatment. And so we have partnered with them for many years, and that we'll get a lot of referrals from Unite. I think our closest county would be Lincoln County, and the eastern counties in Kentucky they can apply for a Unite voucher. And if Unite approves them, they'll actually pay for treatment for 100 days. And so that's...
Now, does the person have to be from those counties?
Yes.
They can't be from Washington County?
No, they actually live in the county.
They have to live in Lincoln or some of those eastern
counties, correct.
Okay.
So we actually get clients from all over the state as well as other states.
So did Congressman Rogers not, he doesn't extend that program to the host state?
Well, it's growing. Okay. It's growing. Lincoln County was picked up, I think, just a couple years ago. So it is growing. It will be a wonderful program for the entire state to be included.
True.
But it is growing, and of course the issue is always funding.
Right.
It's always funding.
That's right.
It makes it very challenging.
Yeah. And so, and then your other program?
Our long-term program is 8 months, and then with 3 months of aftercare.
Oh, a total of a year then.
11 months, yes.
Okay, so now, and what kind of, does private insurance pay for people's treatment?
It does, and everybody's insurance is a little different, so it's like a case-by-case situation. But yes, some commercial private pay insurance does pay for treatment for a period of time. And so we basically, our funding streams come through Medicaid, comes through commercial insurance, comes through self-pay. And then it comes through donations that allow us to bring in guys that have no funding sources whatsoever.
So if now self-pay, I mean, if someone comes in and can afford it, then the self-pay would be what? How much?
Well, it's kind of on a sliding scale. It's based on your income, and there's a sliding scale, and obviously for some people that's a minimal amount. And so that's where if someone commits to a long-term treatment, after about 100 days, we can help find them employment. So as they're working, then part of that can help subsidize their staying in treatment, as well as then also using a portion, depending on what their needs are, for child support or to catch up with court fines. Our goal is actually, and also during that time, we begin a savings account for that client. Our goal is when that client completes the program, they've been able to catch up with court fines and child support. But in addition to that, they've got around $3,000 in savings that they have in hand, because when they transition out, many of them need to buy transportation so that they can continue working. While they're there, we provide transportation for everything. We take them to work, we pick them up. If they need a court appearance, we take them, we stay with them, we bring them back. If they need to go to doctor's appointments, we take them. We provide transportation for 88 guys, which is a logistical challenge. But we provide the transportation for all those guys. But when they leave, obviously, those are real needs, and they need money to do that. And so part of them going to work is to be able to start saving for those kinds of things. We also have, we call them sober living homes. After they complete the program, some of our guys are staying nearby. We don't actually own any of the homes, but we rent them. And so with that is accountability. There's still random drug testing and support, clinical support, counseling if they need it as they transition out as well. So I think
kind of like a halfway
house
where they are not totally in the community because there's some supervision.
Yes.
And they have to be drug and or alcohol free to maintain their residency in that home.
Yes, that's correct. And we always have someone in that home that's a part of the program that kind of keeps an eye, and if there's any warning signs, then we'll just randomly drug test, because if they're struggling, we want to know early so that we can intervene. And then obviously even while they're working, our guys start working and they're the part of the program where they're working, they're all randomly drug tested twice a week. And then we're trying to follow up even after they leave the program to stay in touch with all the guys. Up to 5 years after they leave the program, we'll stay in touch as best we can. We have a person that is in charge, that's his role, and he'll call them up. He may, if they're in close proximity, stop in, let's meet, let's have lunch, take you out to lunch, how are you doing? We may even ask that person for a drug test on the spot. And we do that just because we care and we want these guys to be successful. And we want to continue those relationships. And if they are struggling at some point, that we're available. Even if you've been in the program years ago and you're struggling, we're available. We want to be there to help, because we really want people to be successful in overcoming addiction. And
do you keep statistics on that? Do you know how many
we're
people?
Building that. Years ago, it was kind of like a self-report thing, how you doing, but anyone can be dishonest. If I'm not doing so well, I'm probably not going to tell you, hey, I'm doing well. But we follow up with that. We'll contact family members, how are they doing? We may contact a pastor, hey, how's he doing? But then we're now actually going out and trying to meet with these guys periodically and just sit down and have a conversation. How are you doing? And making sure they're continuing, because recovery doesn't end at the end of a program. It's the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
And so, the aftercare, make sure you have good positive support system in place. Make sure you're attending meetings regularly. And so,
are you referring to AA meetings?
Yes, it can be AA, can be Celebrate Recovery, could be NA, whatever they choose. part of that's where are they living and what's available.
So do you use the AA and NA model within the facility?
Within the facility, we're using something very similar to that. It's Celebrate Recovery.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that. Celebrate Recovery.
Yes, Celebrate Recovery is very similar to AA. It's a 12-step program.
I see. And is this a religious-based organization?
We are a faith-based program. Yes, we're a Christ-centered program. We are.
So, but does that mean that if someone isn't religiously inclined, does that mean they cannot come to your facility?
Absolutely not. We are unashamedly and unapologetically Christ-centered, and we tell people that when they first contact us, but we're open to anyone and everyone. And so we've had clients who are atheists to agnostics to very religious, and kind of everything in between. And so no, it's not a divisive thing. One of our beliefs from being Christ-centered is that we love and care about everyone, regardless of their own personal beliefs. And so, but we do believe that there's a spiritual component, that we are a spiritual being, and that the spiritual piece is a very important part of recovery and maintaining sobriety. And so, yes, we're open to everyone, obviously. We don't turn anyone away, but we're Christ-centered.
Yeah, you're Christ. So does that mean like you have religious services at, like church on Sunday?
Yeah, we provide transportation. We take them to churches on Sunday as well as on Wednesday, and we don't have a specific church. We visit all the churches in Washington County and other counties. We will visit, and part of that is, giving guys a different experience. We do encourage when they leave the program to find a home church. That's just another great support system for you. And so many of them, we have a lot of guys that will actually relocate to this area. Many of them, home is not a safe place. Because of drug dealers and the history there. And so once they come into this area and they find employment, actually some of our local manufacturers really prefer to hire our guys because, number one, they know they're going to be drug-free. We're going to be testing them. They know they're going to show up for work because we're going to bring them and pick them up. And you'll find that they're really hard workers. They're excited about a new life. They want to move forward. And so we have found many of them being hired on full-time with full benefits. And so when they complete the program, they'll choose to relocate to this area. And so as they have visited churches, it helps them then to say, I really like this church. I really like the people there. They are very encouraging and welcoming. And so it's just another one of those pieces that we feel is important in maintaining sobriety.
Support.
Yes, absolutely.
It's an important part of the
program. Support is very much so. And of course, family is a piece of that. Many relationships have been strained because of addiction. They've lied and manipulated and stolen and all those kinds of things. And so, again, our clinical piece of that is providing family counseling as well when the time is right for that. And we also offer family classes when our clients go home. After 30 days, they get a 4-hour on-site. At 60 days, they get a 6-hour off-site. Then after that, they go home for the weekend once a month. And so when families come to pick up their loved one, we'll offer a 2-hour family class. One is through case management, talking about the program and answering questions. But the other part of that is led by our clinician to help the family as well, because it's very challenging for the family. Just not understanding addiction. They don't understand why you just can't stop. If you love me, you would stop. They sometimes don't see the fact that they've been enablers. They've loved them to the point they just enable their addiction because they can't say no, and they're always bail them out of trouble. And so it's an important piece as well to help the family, and so we provide that.
And so, gosh, it sounds like you have a lot of employees there too. So how many people do you employ?
With our residents who are interns, we have about 68. We have about 68 employees. Some of them are interns that we are hiring, including full-time staff on the professional level, RNs and clinicians. So many of our staff that are providing leadership are former clients.
So they don't have to have any kind of degreed education to be in the leadership. I mean,
it depends on the position.
Okay, because you said your therapists who are
right.
licensed.
They're master leveled licensed clinicians minimally.
And then RNs.
RNs, obviously, those are very professional levels. But we have other positions with the construction company. We also have a lawn care business. We were contracted to mow one of our county's public schools. We mow all their property. And so obviously those are positions that don't require a college education. And some of those people provide leadership and remain on. We also do snow removal and tree trimming, and we provide firewood for community action, their voucher system for firewood. We provide that for like 5 counties. We pick up about 400 miles of trash here in Washington County. So part of that is just, teaching our guys to give back. We're involved with school systems when we have opportunity, particularly I think in Mercer County and other schools. We have a day of inviting our guys in to talk to the students about addiction, trying to educate them. So we have a lot of services that we offer. Again, makes us very unique. One of the most unique, innovative treatment programs in this country. And I'm just kind of scratching the surface of all the things we provide, guys. But there's a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts.
I don't know how you keep up with all that.
It's challenging. it is challenging on occasion, but it's good. It's very rewarding. And if you've ever visited our Facebook page, you'll hear just stories. From time to time, we'll put someone's story. And there's, obviously it's a problem. Some have not used the word epidemic, but saying drug addiction has become pandemic. In referring to the number of people who die as a result of drug overdoses, Kentucky is the 3rd leading state in this nation. It's a huge problem.
We've had them right here in Washington County.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can think of 2 heroin deaths, overdose deaths. I mean, just off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's many others that I'm not even aware of.
It is, and we're seeing drug use beginning at an earlier age. We have guys that started, 6, 7 years old, and so it's just it's overwhelming. It's heartbreaking to see the devastation that drug addiction is causing our state. Even financially, what it's costing our state. And so it can be very discouraging. There's a lot of discouraging news, not a lot of success stories. We have those individuals that really are doing well, not just for a few months, but for years, and seeing guys get their education, to see them get their degrees, to see them start their own business. To see them truly overcome addiction is so rewarding, and so there's hope. That's the thing. There really is hope for people that are struggling in addiction. Yeah,
that's the good news, and it's good that we have programs that are addressing those needs. And I dare say there's probably a even greater need than what we currently have. And it sounds like that, I mean, financially, that's a lot too that you all are dealing with, trying to, is it a struggle to stay afloat?
It is indeed. It really is a struggle to stay afloat. You know, and we don't know what changes will come down the road with insurance. But it's indeed a challenge to keep going. And so, you know, sometimes someone will come along and we'll just come along our side and offer a donation. But sometimes it's just like, wow, that was just the permit to keep us going.
Do any of the churches support you around here?
We do, and we're so grateful for that. Not a lot, probably about 3% of our budget comes from churches. Most of it is insurance and self-pay. We actually probably could not, in fact there's no probably to it, we couldn't sustain what we're doing without the jobs piece of our program. And so Medicaid has been great, but again, you know, there's a waiting list. We have people that needing and wanting help, and we can't get them in. We're full.
So all your beds are full right now of 80. I mean, 88?
We're close. In the main, I think we have a few beds open. This week we'll probably be full. We're full with our Medicaid. But we always have guys transitioning out. We have people at all different phases of the program. So we have some about to transition out into continuum of care. So we're always having beds opening, but we have calls every day. Literally every day we have someone calling wanting you know, help. And so
do you contract or provide any outreach services or programs out in the community for people who maybe are not ready to go into a facility, or maybe, you know, as far as therapy or classes? So say, could someone from the community come out there and go to some of your classes without being a resident? Do you have anything like that? Other than the family sessions, we don't, and the reason is it's very difficult to monitor that, to keep our guys safe. You wouldn't think it, but it's amazing how people try to slip in drugs. It's incredible. And so we have a very stringent drug testing policy. Anytime you go out of the facility and come back, you're going to be strip searched and drug tested. And so to open things up to the community to come in, it's hard for us to manage that and not allow someone to slip something into one of our guys. So we're kind of limited on that. We're always going out and meeting with groups and doing public forums and, you know, public school systems, wherever we're invited, churches. We're always trying to educate and to help in those kinds of ways. You know, we've actually helped some Celebrate Recovery groups start, and so, you know, we're trying, and we've always assisted other treatment facilities that are starting up. We've been instrumental in helping others get started. We hope to perhaps start another one sometime next year. Probably we're interested in a women's facility. There's not a lot of facilities for women. We operated one for a couple of years. We turned it into the Medicaid facility. It was a struggle financially to keep it going. We had 12 ladies. And so we eventually phased it out and turned it into our Medicaid facility, and hope to start another one probably in a different county. It's not good for men and women to get together, although they were separate. They found a way of building relationships, and which really wasn't healthy. They weren't ready for relationships, and so needs to be some distance between our facility for the men and women. So so we're hoping to be able to start some other facilities in the future. And now, back to the financial piece again. Do I see sometimes at Walmart in Bardstown the guys there?
Yeah, yes you do. It's probably Raphael is the guy, and sometimes Walmart and different stores will allow us to set up, and we receive donations. But it's not just a donation thing, it's another piece just to educate people. Hey, if you know someone's struggling, here's some information.
So they give
Call
out
us.
information. I was thinking they did, okay.
Yeah.
So you have pamphlets they give out.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just one-on-one conversation. People just come up, wow, I've got a son, or I got a daughter, or I've got a relative, or I got a friend, and you know, who are shocked to be in that position, because it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And many times, you know, our picture of who a drug addict is for some people, I think, sort of skewed. It's not somebody, a homeless person in an alley. It can be a professional person. We've had professional people, obviously. I've had a pastor that struggled with addiction. And it may started with some physical injury, and I was prescribed pain meds. That's how it started. Many times is a story. Or with our kids today, it's so common among teens. I just thought I would try it, you know, out of curiosity or out of peer pressure, and very quickly it became something very, very serious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say addiction really doesn't have a face.
It doesn't.
It's all across all types of individuals. So
it is. You can be standing beside someone that's struggling with addiction and you not know it.
Not even know it. Right.
They get very, very good at covering it up. So.
Well, I'm just appreciate that the fact that we have this facility in our county. I think, you know, we're very lucky to have that opportunity to, and I hope you've got some Washington County residents there, some that, you know, because certainly there's some problems here in our county, and I hope, you know, they get the opportunity to participate in that program. And again, sometimes, like you say, that's not always best. Sometimes it's good to get out of your home community and go elsewhere. So, but I've learned a lot from your information today, and it's really good to know. So I would like to also give our Channel 6 listening audience some information about if they are in need, or if they want to donate, or if there are some other questions they have. Can they contact you?
Yeah, probably the easiest thing is just give us a call.
Okay, would that be you, or just?
You'll get probably Wendy at admissions, but she can connect you to whomever you need to speak to. Our number is 859-375-9200. If you'd like to come out and just tour, we'd love to have people come out just to tour, to learn more about Isaiah House and what we provide, how you might be able to help. If you have someone that's struggling with addiction, just, you know, that number, just give us a call and we'll be glad to talk to you.
And you said also you had a web page or a?
Yes, Isaiah-house.org is our website.
Okay.
And
so
a
Facebook?
We have a Facebook page. You can see us on Facebook. And so, yeah, anything we can do to help, we would be delighted.
Well, that's very good. Well, Mike Cox, thank you very much for being here today, and good luck to you and the Isaiah House.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks.